Welcome to the Occupational Safety Leadership Podcast, episode number 234. And in today's episode, I tried to make it a little more jazzy and clickbaity. So, as my kids would say, we're going to talk about hazard correction fixation syndrome. And this is something I totally made up, of course, too. So, I don't want people to think that I found this in a medical dictionary or a book anywhere. But I started thinking about how myself, of course, at times I believe I've become fixated on fixing a hazard out there. And so by becoming fixated on it, I probably didn't do a well enough job of taking input from others. I probably got input from others, and then I decided this is how it's going to get fixed. And I think in hindsight, what I could have done is really taken a step back as I'm working on things, of course, and do a better job of adjusting and getting things done. And at times, of course, I was probably so fixated on correcting a hazard somebody brought to me that maybe I didn't see another hazard out there. So, and it doesn't mean that anybody was even hurt. It just means that a hazard of a greater priority that should have been tackled with just time and energy. And so, what leads me to this is kind of a long way of getting around to a story. I've been spending a lot of times with my dogs, and awesome, love them. We've been running in the forest, chasing things, doing stuff, and they really love to chase deer. So every day when I let them out, there's always deer, there's a fox, there's something to be chased off of the yard. So I let them out this morning, and there's a couple of geese in the yard. So they run for the geese. As they run to the geese, probably 20 feet from them is about 10 deer. So they literally run past the deer, the really close object, and in theory, the easier one, probably the greatest, the more of a hazard, a priority, that we'll say. But they were so focused on those geese that, and of course, the geese are 100 yards away. They're not catching these geese. These geese weren't even scared in the least bit until the dogs were 20, 30 feet, and then they kind of got up and flew away. Um, and I think that I probably have done that in my own life. I look at a hazard, and I'm fixing that hazard, but in the same time, I probably went by something that I really should have been addressing a lot. I should have been addressing sooner, but because I was so fixated, that's all that I saw. So I think for myself, of course, as a uh, professional development tool, I need to step back at times, of course, and obviously say, that's awesome that you brought the hazard to me, but no matter how much I want to fix this, I really have to look at the priority, look at what has to be done now, of course, because I wish time, energy, and money were not a limited commodity, but they actually are. You can't do everything all day, every day. Um, and so just this little story, kind of thinking about it in my own life, and then watching my dogs, I was like, God, I think I've done that same thing in my professional life then. So um, obviously, there's not going to be a 100% right or wrong answer because it's up to us to assess what's in our workplace. So there's no way that I can sit here and tell you what your issues are, your hazards, your things that have to be addressed. It's things that you have to address, you have to assess, obviously getting input from others around you because they are the true experts. We do a great job of fixing things, but a lot of times as safety professionals, we kind of come into a situation where we're kind of stuck with what we're stuck with. And now we got to make it work and then fix what we got to fix in there. So at this point, I think I'm just starting to drone on, but thank you for joining me today. And for me, I'm going to really sit down, take a hard look at how I'm potentially fixating on a fix while not addressing something else just because I kind of have that focus, like I got to get this done. I got to do this and I got to do that. I'm going to sit down, take a step back, really look at the big picture as opposed to a very narrow, I'm focused on this hazard only. And with that, I want to thank everybody for joining me today. My name is Dr. David Ayers. This is a made up syndrome, so you can use this as you see fit, but don't try and find it in a book. Thank you and have a safe day.